Last week I read a book, and the author of the book said that there's two different ways how we can choose to live life. We can choose to live our lives as a planner, or we can choose to live our lives as a pilgrim. The person that chooses to live his life as a planner, this is how they live their lives. First of all, they like to feel that they are in complete control of their circumstances, or whatever that happens. They take cue from society about what it means to be successful and values. And they spend most of the time trying to match the lifestyle and values of others. If they are not able to accomplish their goals, they become bitterly disappointed when they are not able to achieve their goals. And they refuse to live by faith. That is when somebody chooses to live a life as a planner, a life without faith, when God is not really there. Now, when somebody chooses to live life as a pilgrim, we have to remember that the word pilgrim means that we are just passing by this world. This is temporary. We have a home. We have a promised land, which is heaven. The person who chooses to live as a pilgrim accepts life as a gift, as it unfolds, as we live it day by day. Day by day, week after week, month after month, year after year. The person who chooses to live as a pilgrim knows in his heart, her heart, that we can never have complete control over what happens. The person is not deterred by failures or disappointments. When the person that chooses to live as a pilgrim goes through disappointments, failures, that person is able to see that those things that happen in his life can be opportunities for growth in the spiritual life. The person who lives as a pilgrim is never comfortable or at ease with society's values. And the person who chooses to live as a pilgrim chooses to live by faith. Now, we just heard this long reading from the letter to the Hebrews, and that is exactly what we just heard. We read about our father in faith, Abraham. If we go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 12, we heard about how Abraham was called by God. He was comfortable, he had possessions, he had relatives, and one day God told him, I want you to leave this land where you live. And what did Abraham do? What did he do? Immediately he obeyed. He obeyed. He acted. He left everything that he knew to go in pursuit of this promised land. And later he was promised that he would have so many descendants, minding that he didn't have any child. And his wife was too old to have kids, Sarah. And one night the Lord told Abraham to go outside and to take a look at the sky, to look at all the stars. And the Lord told Abraham, your descendants will be as numerous as the stars. Now, think about this. How would you have reacted? Me, I would have said, are you kidding me? Like, I have no children. How am I going to have all these kids that you are telling me that I will have? Give me a sign that that will happen. Give me something tangible that I can see that what you're telling me, it is going to happen. But Abraham chose to believe, to trust in that God that said that he was going to inherit that promised land. He chose to live by faith as a pilgrim. And now when finally Sarah was able to have a child, now he was asked to sacrifice Isaac. And what did Abraham do? In the same way, Abraham was willing to do it. He was willing to sacrifice his only son. He went up to the mountain and he was about to sacrifice his son. The angel of the Lord stopped him because it was just a test to see a test in the faith. And he was willing to do it. He lived as a pilgrim. He knew that whatever he went through, it was God's plan for his life. How about all of us here this morning? How do we live our lives? Do we know, do we believe in our hearts that whatever we go through in life, the twists, the turns, the disappointments, the things that we're not able to accomplish, the unexpected things that we go through in life, do we see them just as failures, and we get depressed and we start to complain about life, or are we able to see things in the great scheme of life, that whatever we go through in life is meant to help us to grow in faith? And we know that's why we cannot live like people who don't have faith, because we do have faith. And when we do have that faith, that is manifested in the way we live our lives. We cannot live like the rest of the world. That has to be manifested, meaning that we suffer, we go through so much in life, but we always stay focused. We know that we are just walking by. We're pilgrims, that we have a home. And that home is God, that one day we will rest in Him, that we will be with Him, and we will be 100% happy. You know that I recently went back to my native country, El Salvador, and every time that I go back, I go to my small village. I come from a very small village, poor place. And every time I go there, I think about my own journey. Back in 1998, when I was a teenager, I left my country, not because I wanted to come, because my family was here. I wanted to be reunited with my family, with my siblings. I came in 1998, not knowing, it never crossed my mind that I would come here, and 14 years later, I would become a priest. That has been part of my journey. 10 years ago, I would have never thought that now I would be here in Mountainside, serving, being a priest, Our Lady of Lourdes. And that is our life. That is our journey of faith. That we know that everything that happens, as St. Paul tells us, for the good of those who love the Lord.